This drawing tutorial will show you how to successfully complete a drawing of a rectangular prism using tone. You will know that you have been successful at the end of this task if your drawing looks something like this one. As part of this project's learning intentions, you're exploring form through use of tone, shading, and using skills such as applying a variety of different pressures to your pencil. You're also going to use your one individual light source, which is placed on the top right hand side of your drawing, and use your rubber to rub out your highlights. Just like every other drawing that we did, you're going to start off by scaling your object. You're going to start off with one line, which is going to indicate where you're going to start your shape. After drawing your first straight line through your page, you're now going to draw the other faces of your prism. The easiest way to imagine this is that you're drawing a rectangle with its visible sides. Ensure that there's no hard edges at the edges of your rectangular prism. As you can see, I have rounded all my edges and made them quite soft. Now that I'm happy with the outline and the shape of my rectangular prism, and I have gotten rid of any lines that I no longer need, I'm ready to start my shading. Before starting to create your shadows on your object, you need to be aware of where the shadows will go. You're going to create a tonal value strip of values from 5 to 1, 5 being your darkest and 1 being your lightest. The easiest way to do that is to create 5 boxes that are all of the same size and start shading 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5, and then covering up number 1 and shading only 2, 3, 4 and 5 and doing the same thing for all of them until your number 5 is your darkest part of your whole strip. Excellent! After you've done your tonal value strip, you're now welcome to start shading your actual prism. You need to think about where the light is hitting your object. As you can see, in this case, your light is coming in from top right hand side, which means that the darkest part of your drawing will be the left. Please refrain from leaning in too hard with your pencil and use very soft and sensitive pencil marks, gradually building up your tone and spreading your dark shadow from left to right. Continue to look at your strip of tonal value range from 5 to 1 as a guide for how dark to make each part of your shadow. This is starting to look very realistic. That is because the left hand side has a visible number 4 to 5 of a shadow, while number 1 is visible on the very right hand side closest to my light source. In order to complete this drawing of a rectangular prism, the last thing we need is a shadow on the table. The shadow on the table will make it seem as though the object isn't floating in empty space and that it's casting a strong shadow on the surface. As you can see in this drawing, the tone is much stronger the closer it is to your object, and as it recedes away into the distance, it becomes fainter and fainter and fainter. The last stage of this drawing is to use your rubber as a tool for rubbing out any highlights. As you can see, I've included some pebbles of light, which is called reflected light. This reflected light projects from the table onto the very dark part of the object, and it adds a very realistic feel to my whole drawing. I hope you enjoyed doing this rectangular prism tutorial and that you have learned something new today. You would have been successful in your learning journey if you have used your rubber as a tool to rub out your highlights, if you have recognised that the rectangular prism is not a shape but a form which is three-dimensional, and if you have blended your shadows out to create a smooth blended surface.